So there was a scene released recently for the new Star Trek Starfleet Academy series. And let's just say it's pretty much what you'd expect it to be. Yeah, it looks a lot like modern Star Trek tends to look like, to be honest. The set design looks very Star Trek Discovery. You know, the ship has a horrible bridge. The space battle is just unappealing as any Kelvin timeline space battle. Remember the swarm of Space B ships that obliterated the Enterprise in the beginning of Star Trek Beyond? Yeah, this kind of reminds me of that. The USS Athena is attacked by some space balls or something and heavily damaged, like all starships seem to be in modern Star Trek. These latest ships just seem to get wrecked really easily and their hulls just sort of crumble in combat. This Jem'Hadar female, yeah, I know that makes no sense. How could she be female? She appears to be the first officer, I think, and she has a personal transporter. So she's able to just disappear and reappear anytime she wants. Yeah, she just disappears on the bridge. I never liked the idea of a personal transporter. Like we first saw in Star Trek Nemesis, incidentally, Data had a personal transporter. Because it makes no sense. A transporter pad has to exist somewhere in order to make this process of transportation work in the first place. How do you transport the subject and the transporter device at the same time? Well, blame Star Trek Nemesis for setting that precedent, I guess. During the battle on the dreadfully ugly bridge of the Athena, the action and drama is just lacking in engagement. When I watch drama on modern Star Trek, I just feel like there's going to be like a pause for canned laughter. It just feels like a spoof or something. Though I will say, being positive for a moment, Holly Hunter's performance is decent here, I think. And we'll have to see how her character turns out. But who knows? Maybe she'll be a kind of a Janeway kind of character. I don't know. It all comes down to the quality of writing, so I wouldn't be getting my hopes up there. So anyway, Paul Giamatti plays the series villain, and he shows up in a holographic communication system. So he's projected onto the bridge of the ship, and he says, he has this line where he says, "And time with its infinite sense of humor will always fold upon itself like an origami chicken. And this moment, Captain Ake, this moment is that chicken. In other words, payback's a bitch." What a dreadful line. It's really bad. It's not, I mean, I think someone wrote that thinking that it was going to be poetry or something, right? It's just dreadful. What is that even supposed to mean? Time with its infinite sense of humor will always fold upon itself like an origami chicken. Really? Who thought this even sounded clever or intimidating or profound in some way? It's absolutely absurd. And as an analogy, it makes no sense. And also it obviously begs the question, how does an alien know about something like origami or even chickens? But I've already made an entire video about how appalling modern Star Trek dialogue is, and I guess this line would add to quite a long list of examples. Anyway, we do get to see Robert Picardo back as the EMH Doctor, and yes, he is playing the original emergency medical holographic doctor from Star Trek Voyager. He's not playing the backup version from the episode Living Witness. That has been confirmed. He's the original EMH. And you know what? He's still got it. You know, he's high energy. He's able to deliver the same kind of high quality performance that we always liked. So that's a positive. But besides that, Starfleet Academy is looking and sounding very much like New Trek all over again. I assume the cadets will have to rise to the occasion and help save the day. I question who this show was actually made for. Because certainly the majority of Star Trek fans were not looking for something like this. They weren't asking for a show that looks and sounds like this. They weren't asking for a show that was going to explore the kind of, high school / college age, angsty sort of teenage, early 20s kind of themes that this show is going to explore, you know, like most sort of high school type shows do. Because you can't tell me that this is going to appeal to most of the Star Trek fan base. Certainly not longtime fans. I mean, look, absolutely, there's going to be a niche portion of the fan base who pretty much watch anything with a Star Trek name. They'll watch this. Every fandom has a subsection of its audience who persevere with a franchise regardless of the quality on offer. But most Trek fans who watched the original series, the golden era shows of TNG, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, they're not even going to bother with this. In the same way they didn't even bother with Section 31, that dreadful TV movie. It's about as un-Star Trek as anything you can imagine. In the same way that, you know, they maybe watched a few episodes of Discovery and Strange New Worlds. They gave those shows a chance and then lost interest. If this scene was released to try to drum up a bit of interest in Star Trek Starfleet Academy, to create some buzz and entice people to watch it, I certainly don't think it would have achieved that particular goal. But there you are. The series is coming out in January, and I do intend to watch it purely to review it for you guys so you can see. I mean, I do think it's worth documenting where Star Trek is. I mean, I watched and reviewed Section 31. I sat through that so you guys did not have to. And I will put myself through, I am going to do this. I'm going to go through Starfleet Academy and just to see how bad it's going to be. I must be a glutton for punishment, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to at least watch the first episode and let you know. Yeah, so, I mean, I think it goes without saying that I don't believe this show should ever have been greenlit in the first place. People did want to see a continuation of Star Trek Picard Season 3 in the form of Terry Matalas' proposed spin-off series Star Trek Legacy. That would have worked, I think. That would have been watched in significant numbers because it would have felt and looked like Star Trek of old. But a TV movie like Section 31 or a show like this Starfleet Academy series, to me, they feel about as far away from proper Star Trek as you can imagine. And to make matters worse, this show is set in the Discovery timeline. So that's not exactly a popular era in the Star Trek universe. So Star Trek Discovery, I don't believe, is a great foundation for a new series to build off of. Nevertheless, yes, I am going to watch the first episode of this new Star Trek Starfleet Academy show, really out of morbid curiosity. I'll watch it and review it so you guys don't have to. But there you go. Guys, let me know your thoughts on this one in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Dave Cullen Show channel. Hit that notification bell to be notified of future updates as well. Hit that like button. Share this video out there. Take care, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye-bye.